This podcast series is proudly sponsored by Schneider Electric, whose purpose is to empower all to make the most of their energy and resources, bridging progress and sustainability for all. They hope some of these insights from the following will help drive that progress.
My name is Jo Taranto, and I'm joined today by Mark Lautre, Interim CEO at SUEZ Australia and New Zealand. Thanks for having a chat with me, Mark. Welcome.
Thank you, Jo.
Why do you think SUEZ, the company you've worked for a while now, is so passionate about supporting the water industry?
SUEZ is a company with a rich history in the water industry, both globally, more than 160 years of providing services to municipalities and industrial clients. And we've been a feature of a key part of the water industry in Australia since the mid-90s, when we started to develop infrastructure projects locally. And it all started here in Sydney, really.
Right. And have you seen, I guess, a lot of change in that time? Do you think it's important to work together with the people in the industry? It's a bit of a team sport.
Absolutely. Our business is partnerships. So we work with the industry, we work with our clients. It's about continuing to innovate and meet the challenges of the industry. We've never seen as much change as what we're facing currently. So that is even more important, to work together, to collaborate in all aspects of the water industry.
What do you want people to understand about SUEZ?
SUEZ is a water player. It's a global water player, but it's a local company in Australia. It's got a long history here. It's a company that operates in the full cycle of water, in treatment, in distribution, in collection, in wastewater treatment, in reuse, and its driver is sustainability and innovation to create circular solutions. Because water is what connects all people. It transcends across boundaries, and so everybody is connected to water in some way. And so it's a very circular industry, and we see our role in operating, and we do operate in all those elements and cycles of the water process. Yeah.
You've worked across the world with SUEZ and indeed other utilities. Mark, what is changing for the water industry and indeed SUEZ?
Well, there's a lot of change in our industry, as I've said. Today it's about sustainability, it's about resilience. Today we operate infrastructure that was provided by previous generations. It needs to be fit for purpose. It needs to adapt. That requires big investment and very clear decision making and very clear connection with communities on how water transforms and meets those challenges, those climate change and resilience challenges that are in front of us. But it's about doing that in a sustainable way environmentally. It's about protecting the communities and nature where these facilities operate, and also about people, the role of people in developing and maintaining our water systems and infrastructure, and the connection to land as well, because water and land come together.
We were talking before about how good it is to catch up with people that you've worked across the industry with. It must be really exciting to connect with colleagues over the industry over a number of years. Do you feel like when you see people, you kind of celebrate some of those things that have been going on? Do you talk shop with people, or is it just a matter of catching up and connecting?
The water industry is very connected. It's a small industry. Australia is a big country, so we do. I would say it's very connected. There are a number of organisations that span across the political boundaries. We all have the common purpose, and we all learn from each other. It's an industry where it is very dynamic and changing, and and it's complex, and so we need to learn and improve off each other's experience. And there's a rich history of sharing within this. I would call it a family more than a water community. It's a family. Yes.
Is there anything you're particularly proud of at SUEZ that you've seen happen while you've been there and think, wow, that was pretty exciting?
I think one thing that Australia does well is it has these climate challenges where we have very wet periods and very dry periods, and so our infrastructure needs to be resilient to that. And we've been able to find ways of extending the life of existing infrastructure through innovation, which is really important in minimizing capital spend and maximizing the value of these assets. So it's about doing lots of little things to get better outcomes. Efficiency in process, adapting processes, embracing digital technology. That is something that is starting but accelerating at a very fast pace, which allows clients and end customers to manage their usage in real time and react in real time, which is very exciting.
You're listening to the Australian Water Association podcast series, and I'm speaking with Mark Lautre of SUEZ, Australia and New Zealand. You've talked a little bit about the challenges already, Mark, but what is facing the water industry and SUEZ, particularly in Australia?
What we've seen in Australia is a boom of infrastructure investment, all around climate change and resilience. We're seeing a kind of second wave of desal, which we saw 10, 15 years ago. Those projects are massive, they're large, they require highly skilled people and capacity. So we're seeing difficulty in retaining and attracting talent to manage all of these concurrent projects. So that, I would say, is one of the biggest challenges that we face today. Another one is the supply chain, which was disrupted during COVID. Fortunately, that looks to be correcting itself and improving, which is reducing risk in delivery of these major infrastructure projects. But people is probably the number one issue, which is not uncommon to Australia. It's something we're seeing in many markets across the world.
I'd love to hear a little bit about SUEZ's approach to Indigenous water management. Like many organisations, you're considering how important this might be. What are SUEZ doing in this area?
So all projects that are developed and all infrastructure that's operates within the community. SUEZ is a local company. It's connected to those communities, and so works with those communities and seeks to engage, but not more than just engage. It's incorporate the Indigenous communities in the activity, because at the end of the day, those services and water is owned by the people. The services are for the people, and it's owned by the people. And so it's really important that we respect and understand cultural issues before we even put the first shovel in the ground to develop new infrastructure. It's about working with those communities to understand what that means in their custom and how we can bring the technology and the service provision together with the community needs and wants.
Mark, you've talked about the fact that water is about people and technology. How critical is innovation?
It's at the heart of what SUEZ is. We're always looking to innovate, embrace innovation for the benefit, for end value, for our customers and the customers that they serve through the infrastructure that we build and operate. So it's about green infrastructure in our design and building practices. We have on some of these facilities, we look to build an ecosystem around the facility so that the facility operates within that environment, and that we can protect biodiversity and have wider environmental outcomes rather than just the service that is provided. as we recognise the value of R&D, and we are increasing our R&D spend by some 50% in the near term, so in our medium term, because that's the starting point. Research and development refines technologies, it unlocks innovation, and at the end of the day, it provides greater value for our customers and their customers. We live in a digital world. SUEZ is a provider of digital solutions and technologies, and that plays an important role in the efficiency of delivery, because at the end of the day, water is a finite commodity. It's a political commodity, and we need to use it in the most efficient way. It's not just about using it, it's about being able to recycle it, about understanding how water is used and optimizing that to the best value. And the way we operate facilities, these are long-term arrangements. It's about optimizing over a long time. It's little wins all the way through by improving processes, by implementing technology in existing facilities to adapt and get the best outcomes that we can.
I've been speaking with Mark Lautre, Interim CEO at SUEZ Australia and New Zealand. Thanks so much for your time, Mark.
Thank you, Jo. That was wonderful to share my reflections of where the industry's at and the role that SUEZ is playing in that. Thank you.